Welcome to today's video about the hidden signs of Parkinson's disease. Imagine this. As you sit here watching, your body could already be whispering clues about a condition that silently affects over 10 million people worldwide. These clues are so quiet that most of us completely overlook them, chalking them up to age, stress, or simple tiredness. By the time Parkinson's is usually recognized, much of the brain's dopamine-producing power is already lost, yet science shows the disease can leave early footprints 5, 10, even 20 years before diagnosis. That means there's a huge opportunity. Spotting those clues early can transform how you live with this condition. Treatments, exercise, nutrition, and targeted therapies work best in the earliest stages. Awareness is your first line of defense. Let's take a careful walk through 11 early warning signs of Parkinson's disease. As you listen, think about yourself, your loved ones, or anyone you know who might be dismissing these subtle changes. 1. Loss of smell. One of the earliest and most ignored signs is a fading sense of smell, or hyposmia. Studies reveal more than 95% of people with Parkinson's report this symptom, often years before anything else. It doesn't happen overnight. Scents just become less vibrant. Maybe morning coffee doesn't smell as rich, or flowers seem bland. Specific odors such as bananas, licorice, pickles, or cinnamon can become surprisingly hard to identify. Why? The same protein deposits that damage brain cells also attack the tiny nerve endings in your nasal passages, gradually blocking messages to the brain. Because the process is slow, most people blame allergies, a cold, or aging. Paying attention to gradual loss of smell, especially if it isn't linked to sinus issues, can provide a vital clue. 2. Small handwriting. Have you noticed your signature shrinking? Micrographia, handwriting that becomes tiny and cramped, affects around 63% of people with Parkinson's. At first, you may start a note in your usual style, only to find letters getting smaller as you write. Grocery lists, birthday cards, or checks may look cramped or uneven. This isn't fatigue or bad pens. It's the brain's motor circuits, particularly the basal ganglia, struggling to coordinate fine movements. Digital handwriting analysis can now detect Parkinson's in people who don't yet show tremors, with accuracy rates above 80%. If your writing keeps compressing despite rest, it may be worth discussing with a doctor. 3. Sleep disturbances. Healthy sleep is one of the first things Parkinson's begins to disturb. A striking red flag is REM sleep behavior disorder, where the body stops staying still during dreams. Instead of resting, you might talk, punch, kick, or shout in your sleep, often without waking up. Research shows up to 70% of people with this disorder will later develop Parkinson's or related conditions. Other disruptions include irresistible daytime sleepiness, frequent waking, or insomnia that leaves you tired even after hours in bed. These problems come from the same chemical changes in the brain that affect movement, long before tremors start. 4. Constipation. Digestive health can tell you a lot about your brain. Chronic constipation, not relieved by fiber, fluids, or exercise, may appear 10 to 20 years before movement symptoms. The same misfolded proteins that damage brain cells also collect in the nerves of your gut, slowing bowel function. Men with long-standing constipation have nearly triple the risk of Parkinson's later. Women have more than double the risk. Persistent digestive trouble, especially if joined by other signs, deserves attention. 5. Bladder problems. Frequent bathroom trips, urgency that seems to come out of nowhere, or waking up several times a night to urinate may point to early Parkinson's. Changes in the pathways between the brainstem and bladder can make the bladder muscle overactive, triggering strong urges even when it isn't full. Difficulty starting urination or feeling like you didn't empty completely are also common. 6. Slowed movements. Bradykinesia, meaning unusually slow movement, is one of Parkinson's core symptoms. It rarely begins dramatically. Instead, everyday tasks get subtly harder. Brushing your teeth takes longer. You need extra effort to button a shirt. Chopping vegetables feels clumsy. Often one side of the body is slower, a leg drags slightly, or one hand struggles with small tools. People often invent workarounds, unknowingly hiding the problem and delaying diagnosis. 7. Muscle stiffness or rigidity. Unlike stiffness from arthritis, Parkinson's rigidity is a deep, steady tightness. It often starts in the shoulders, neck, or one arm, making it hard to swing naturally while walking. Some describe it as a constant mild contraction, worse in the morning or after sitting still. Even stretching or massage doesn't fully release it because the issue lies in brain circuits regulating muscle tone. 8. Changes in speech. Your voice can carry early hints of Parkinson's. You may sound softer, hoarse, or monotone without noticing. Family members might ask you to repeat yourself or say you sound tired. Speech muscles lose range and coordination, leading to slurred consonants or a flat tone. Sometimes these changes fluctuate with fatigue or stress, making them easy to dismiss. 9. Masked face. Hypomimia, or facial masking, affects about 70% of people with Parkinson's. Expressions become less animated, smiles smaller, brows less reactive, blinking less frequent. To others, you might look sad, angry, or distant even when you feel normal. Because facial expressions are key to connection, this change can strain social interactions. 10. Apathy or depression. Parkinson's doesn't just affect movement. It also alters brain chemistry tied to motivation and mood. Apathy, loss of drive, or enthusiasm can appear years ahead of tremors. Depression in early stages often includes anxiety, irritability, or a sense of emotional flatness. These are biological effects of changes in dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine systems, not simply reactions to illness. 11. Decreased blinking. People with Parkinson's often blink far less, sometimes only a few times per minute instead of 15 to 20. The reduced blinking creates a fixed stare and can dry out the eyes, causing burning or irritation. Family or friends often spot this sign before the person feels anything is wrong. Final thoughts. Every one of these signs, from smell loss to slow movement, is a message from your nervous system that something may be changing. They don't prove Parkinson's on their own, but together they form a roadmap that doctors can use to act early. Early recognition can lead to therapies, exercise, and lifestyle adjustments that slow progression, preserve independence, and extend quality of life. If any of these sound familiar, don't panic, but don't ignore them either. A specialist in movement disorders can evaluate the whole picture, rule out other causes, and advise next steps. If this video helped you spot potential early signs, write "helpful" in the comments, like and share to reach others, and subscribe for more evidence-based guides to protecting your health.